excited because I have Sergeant Lowe here with me, and he's going to answer some of the most common questions that you guys usually have about recruitment. If you have any questions that I don't ask today, please feel free to just leave a comment below, and either Sergeant Lowe or myself or any one of the awesome recruiters in our group will be more than happy to help you with that. Okay, so Sergeant Lowe, you're located in Tennessee. Can you tell us a little bit more about where you're located specifically?
Yes, we're in Cleveland, Tennessee. It's about 30 miles north of Chattanooga, right off 75.
Awesome. Okay, and do you mind maybe sharing some of your contact information in case anybody's in that area of Tennessee and they'd like to speak with you?
Absolutely, yes. My cell phone number is 478-284-4304.
Awesome. Okay, great. Now, Sergeant Lowe, I just want to ask you, how long have you been in the military?
I actually just hit my 14th year on January 7th.
Very cool. Congratulations.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
What do you like the most about being in the military?
You know, I came from a really small town, not far from here, actually, in Laverne, Tennessee, and it's the community networks. You know, coming from a small town, you know, everyone knows everyone, and it's kind of the same. Like we have a big army, right? But it's crazy how small the network really is. You know, kind of just to give you an example, my first duty station was Camp Casey, South Korea, and in my first month in Korea, I ran into a guy from high school that I haven't seen in 3 years, right there in South Korea. So, you know, from small town Laverne, Tennessee, to South Korea. So it's a small world.
That's very cool. I love that. And what kind of jobs have you done so far, if you don't mind sharing that with us?
Absolutely. So I joined originally as airborne infantryman in 2007. So you know, you would think airborne infantry, height of the surge into Iraq. You know, I would be going to a mechanized or to an airborne unit to deploy, but actually ended up getting put in a mechanized unit. So I was an infantry dismount for a Bradley unit, and I was there in that unit for 2 years. So I went up. I was started as a dismount, where I got out and I did the infantry thing, and then I was a Bradley driver, and I finally finished up in that unit as a Bradley gunner. So kind of very familiar with both light and mechanized units.
How cool. Okay. That's very cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. So, as a recruiter, because I get a lot of people that are like, well, I want to get in right away. I want to ask you, what are the jobs that are the most readily available right now?
Wow. Like right now, we see a
Or
lot of
let's say within the next couple of months. Sorry to interrupt you.
okay. I really, as far as what's coming up, I really couldn't say because we really go off of. I mean, ultimately, it's the needs of the Army, right?
Mhm.
You know, so based off their qualifications and needs of the Army. But right now, we have been seeing a lot of availabilities for like artillery, and combat arms, and some of the lighter logistics. Is kind of like the trend right now.
Cool. Okay, awesome. And then when you think about those jobs, what would you recommend are the sections that people study for the hardest to be able to
Absolutely.
do well for those jobs?
So really, as far as studying, you know, your AFQT is all about getting in the military, right? Regardless of branches, it's about getting in. When it comes down to the line scores, and you can impact your line scores the most with studying the arithmetic reasoning and the verbal comprehension sections. Could point you in a direction as far as what to study most, or the put your most time or effort into. It would be those two sections.
Okay. All right, perfect. Thank you. And do you have any advice for people who are maybe just struggling with the ASVAB or maybe struggling to get in? Is there anything, as someone who already got in, that you can maybe give advice to maybe someone that's discouraged?
Absolutely, yeah. Everything worth doing that's right takes a little bit of extra effort sometimes, right? Consistency. If I can give you any advice, it'd be consistency. Set your routine to where everyone's different. Like I study best with a paperback book, but my buddy here, Sergeant Blair, he studies best, reading off a computer screen, so knowing how you study best and the times, I'm a morning person, so I like getting up and getting to it. I do my best work in the morning. So, if for me, I would get up, have my cup of coffee and open the book. That way it's on my mind the day for the day. I got the day to stew it over, brew it over, but I don't spend too long to where I'm getting burnt out on it. Just set your routine, just, a little bit of time a day, but keep it consistent. Um, Again, and knowing yourself and knowing how your study habits work for you would definitely be the smartest route.
Awesome. I think that's great advice. Thank you. And then I wanted to also ask you, when people go see a recruiter, because they might not be in Tennessee, what would you recommend they maybe ask their recruiter or talk to the recruiter about?
There's so many programs and benefits that when we're sitting down with somebody, that we may not necessarily hit on. So having that prep work, having your research done, kind of helps facilitate the conversation. Um, like I said, it's a sitting down and explaining the military, as a whole, or the Army specific programs in an hour and a half is just about impossible. There's so many different little programs. The MWR. Anytime I have shippers, people shipping out for basic training, I always talk about the MWR and the USO. Because the USO is one of those programs that's really underutilized because not a whole lot of people know about it or take advantage of it. And it really is. There's a lot of great programs out there that we may not necessarily bring up in a conversation because, it's just kind of keeping in the flow with the conversation. And that's kind of like that one piece of information that can make your career, your path in the military, completely different.
Wow. Let's say I don't know about these programs, where can I learn more about them?
I couldn't speak for the other branches because as a whole the DoD, they're DoD programs, so every branch has access to them. But as far as like the specific information on how you utilize or where for the Army, it'd be goarmy.com. There's a lot of great information on there, and if anyone's prepping or doing their research and getting ready to sit down with a recruiter, I would definitely say take some time, sit down with your parents or your girlfriend, boyfriend, or someone, right? Because two minds are better than one, and just go over it, and look through the website, and have a couple of different programs that you'd like to ask about. Maybe it piques your interest, and again, it just helps facilitate the conversation and gives you more information.
Awesome. That's solid advice. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you maybe want to share with us or recommend to us at all?
Yes, absolutely. Every branch has their own personality, if you will. So a lot of times I sit down with a young man or person, a woman, sorry, that's always like, hey, I'm going to be a Marine or I'm going to be in the Army. This is always it. But every branch has their own personality, and you want to make sure that you're it's going to be a right fit for you, right? Because it's a big decision. It's a big decision. So definitely talk to everybody. Don't just be locked into one. Not saying that's a bad idea, right? But every branch has their own little different programs and how they can utilize their programs. So make sure you're definitely talking to everybody.
Great. Thank you so much, Sergeant Lowe. I appreciate it. I appreciate that you're taking the time to talk to us today. So if you are in Tennessee and you're close to, you said it was Cleveland, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Tennessee? Okay. I knew I was like Cleveland, that's Ohio. No, it's Tennessee. Okay. Sorry. So if you're near Cleveland, Ohio, look at me. If you're near Cleveland, Tennessee, please stop by and say hi to Sergeant Lowe. And remember, you can always leave a comment below and we'll be more than happy to help you in any way we can. Thank you again, Sergeant Lowe. And guys, have a great day.